Alright, what's good, boys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be explaining exactly how I hit 7 figures with my clothing brand in 2 years. Some fundamentals that I had in check every single month, and I made sure that I hit. And some things, I guess, principles that I live by for my clothing brand that has made me generate 7 figures in revenue in 2 years. Obviously, I don't have $1 million liquid in my bank account right now, but 7 figures in 2 years, 6 figures in 1 year, all by myself, no mentor, no teacher. I'm not an influencer. I don't think that's too bad, okay? So I will say this video in itself is pretty high level in a sense where if you're just starting your clothing brand, you don't even have a clothing brand, or you're just interested in starting a clothing brand, I wouldn't watch this whole entire video because this is high level stuff, which means you won't understand what I'm talking about. So, you know, I mean, you can if you want to, but I'm just telling you, you're not gonna understand what I'm saying. So yeah, I would say this video is mainly for brand owners that are already getting sales, or you're not getting any sales and you want to get more sales for your clothing brand to hit like 10K per month, 20, 30, 50, 6 figures per month with your clothing brand. Also, no crazy edits. Obviously, whenever I do these type of tutorials, I don't do crazy edits because I don't think people that have a TikTok monkey brain deserve to, I guess, get this information if they can't watch a 20-minute video without edits. So if you guys are like, who is this guy? Why should I listen to him? If you guys know, this is literally for one day. I restocked a couple of my products yesterday. So I didn't even, this is not a new drop. This is just a restock of a couple of my products. And let's see, yesterday, 7.2K. Today, 2.6, nothing crazy. A little 10K day, or 10K in 2 days. But yeah, so let's just get started. Number one, first things first, which a lot of clothing brand owners don't talk about, is back-end fundamentals, okay? So what I mean by this is back-end fundamentals where, you know, people won't see on the front end. So the front end examples would be ads, websites, marketing, influencer marketing, things like that, followers, which people, aesthetics, photo shoots, people do think, or I mean, it is important, don't get me wrong, but I will say the back-end fundamentals are way more important because that is what's going to capture the leads that you have and actually convert them to sales, okay? So the first back-end system that you need to focus on is flows, okay? This includes SMS and email. I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't matter. It can be SMS or email, but the flows is pretty much automations that make sure that you get the most optimized, I guess, sale for every single customer. So what this means is this includes abandoned cart flows, welcome series flows, browse abandonment cart flows. So just a bunch of flows and automations that you need in check for your clothing brand in order to get the most amount of sales possible. Because, for example, if you don't have this set up, you're losing out on a lot of money. So for me personally, I made 6 figures just off these flows. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's definitely important to have, I guess, engaging customers, because people will click on those SMS and email campaigns or automations that they get. And also you will have a higher conversion rate because you're gonna get all the leads that are, I guess, not qualified to reconsider it by having more SMS and more email sent to their number or their email, okay? So this is automations. Like I said earlier, the main ones are welcome series and abandoned cart. There are others, but I would say those two are probably the most important that you need for your clothing brand, okay? So that's the first type of back-end system you need to focus on. Number 2 is customer service, okay? Customer service is not too hard. Like, all you need to do is just respond to your emails every single day and just be nice to the customers, and usually 9 times out of 10 just favor to your customers. So for example, something that happens a lot for my personal brand is a lot of customers, they ship it to the wrong address, okay? So it's their fault technically because they put the wrong address. So because it's not a real address, they ship it to the address. It's not real, so it gets shipped back to me, and you know, I have to give them a refund. And so what I usually do is I just give them a full refund. The main reason why I do that is because customer is king, okay? So the reason why I say customer is king is because even though they might be at wrong, even though they might have made a mistake, at the end of the day, your reputation is very important, and it takes one bad review to mess up your, I guess, brand. So for example, I like literally recently I had some guy that I guess like we sent him the wrong size or some shit like that, and he left a bad review, which I'm gonna be honest, like it's not that deep, but I guess, you know, if that adds up, it's not gonna be really good for your brand. So I would really say, personally for me, the way I operate my clothing brand is, if the customer is like did something wrong, or if they're asking for a refund, a return, exchange, I always do it for them. Okay, so you know there are clothing brands out there that do no returns, no exchanges, but I think that's a pretty bad business model, especially in the long run, because you know you're not going to have a pretty good reputation, especially if people want to exchange or a refund or a return or cancel the order, etc. Because not everybody's going to want your shit. You know, I'm trying to say that it might be the wrong size. And at the end of the day, if you don't take any returns and you have no returns or no return policy, it's going to mess up your business, bro. Okay, so I would say customer service, definitely very important. Obviously, you guys can outsource this to somebody else, but I would say for the most part, most of you guys should be doing it by yourself, because it's not that hard to do. Just check your email every single day, once in the morning and once before you sleep. Okay, so next is QC, which is called quality check. Yeah, quality check. So pretty much what QC is making sure that you have good quality, making sure that there's no mistakes with your products. So obviously going through every single product when you get your bulk order is pretty unrealistic. It's not going to happen. But what you guys can do is pretty much just take a random product from every single size. Bro, why is my laptop dying? By the way, I have like notes written up here, so okay, my bad. But pretty much you guys want to take, I guess, a small, medium, large, XL, take everything out, look at the sizing, try it on, make sure everything is good, and make sure there is no mistakes. Because I'm gonna be honest, there's been a lot of times where my manufacturers had made mistakes, and a lot of manufacturers in general make a lot of mistakes, and you need to catch those, because if the customer catches the mistake, you're gonna pay for it, because you already shipped it out. So you're losing the product, you're paying double for shipping, and you have a bad impression on the customer, and you have to give them a refund. Okay, so you're better off just checking it first before you actually ship it out, because that is what is going to make sure that you have a good customer experience with your customers. Okay, so that's QC. Next, we have inventory management. This is also kind of pretty self-explanatory, but make sure that you're just not sold out, and be very like cautious on what products you reorder and what products you want to restock and push out. Okay, so what I mean by this is a lot of brand owners, they try to push out a specific product that isn't doing well. So for example, I see a lot of brand owners that have like a trash product, but they personally like the product, so they want to push it out more, which is fine. But the problem with that is the customers, the audience, they don't like it. They don't want it, bro. You know what I'm trying to say? So this honestly depends on each brand. So for example, for some brands, it might be a minimalistic brand with a little logo here, and the customers might love that. For other brands, it might be a crazy graphic. For some brands like mine, like this zip up right here, I did not market this at all. I didn't run any ads. I didn't do anything. And this zip up, and in my personal opinion, it's nothing crazy either. It's just a black zip up, skull, you know, sleeves, and this sold out in a couple days. So I guess for this, it depends on each brand. But what I mean by inventory management is, unless it's a winning product, which I personally have a pretty strict standard for, because you know it's very hard to make a winning product, right? It's like 1 in 10 products usually. So unless it's a winning product, I really don't recommend you guys restock that specific product, because it doesn't make sense. Okay, so I guess the way you guys can look at the whole clothing brand game is 5 to 10% of your products are going to be your winning products. Okay, so this is like the best sellers, the viral videos that you get. 80% is going to be just average, regular, you know, that you get a couple sales here and there. I would say the top 40% is going to be products that kind of move, eventually they sell out, it's not bad. And then the bottom 40 is like products that kind of move but it's very slow, and then the bottom 10%, 5 to 10% is products that don't move at all. So it's like 4 different sections: top 10, 40, 40, 10. And you know, the main point of dropping multiple collections and multiple products is to get in the top 10. You know what I'm trying to say? So the more top 10 products you have, winning products, the more sales you will get, because you guys can run ads on it. People will come for that specific product a lot. And I would honestly say, do not even restock the top 40 products, okay? So I would only restock the top 10, because, you know, the thing with the top 40, so what I mean by top 40 is these are products that you get sales here and there. It's not bad. People like it. You run ads on it. You get a couple sales here and there. And it's kind of like you just leave it on the website. Eventually it sells out. You know what I'm trying to say? So those are the type of products that are in the top 40. But the reason why I personally don't like restocking those type of products. So for example, this zip up, right? It's sold out. However, the reason why I never restocked it was because I understand that this is never going to be a winning product, right? So I might get sales, people might buy it, but it's not enough. So instead of spending that money restocking this, I could just make a new product that might be even better, that has potential to be a winning product, okay? So I don't like spending money. I like being pretty efficient. So like, for example, I have an inner circle. This is not a plug, by the way. This is a fucking example. So I have an inner circle for like clothing brand owners, and pretty much most of the people in there, or I'd say like half, are just starting out. Like they're brand new clothing brand owners, and we have this group chat, and pretty much in the group chat, everybody is like, I guess because they're first starting out, I tell them to send their designs that they make, and I just give them responses. And I guess I could kind of pull out a couple if I can see where this shit's at. But yeah, pretty much like I just give them feedback. But the thing with this is like a lot of brand new clothing brand owners, they make designs in the beginning and it's trash. You know, it's trash. So you know, you won't be able to make a winning product necessarily in the beginning for most cases. Personally, for me, I think it took 4 or 5 drops before I got like one. Actually, no, 3 drops before I got one winning product. But before that, you know, I was getting like all the designs I was making were trash. So yeah, I mean, I kind of explained here. Let me see. So like, boom, I kind of explained like what's good, what's bad. Actually, I guess I can't show this because I'm low-key gonna leak the numbers. But pretty much the example that I'm trying to make is that a lot of people, they make designs and they ask for feedback, and I pretty much tell them like, this is good, this is bad. But the reason why I say it in like such an efficient way is because I wouldn't even let them order a sample. So I guess the way I kind of do it is like, when they send me a design or they order a sample, before they even order a sample, number one, they have to go with like, they have to send it to me first so I can take a look at it. But I won't, like 90% of the designs that they make, I won't even let them order a sample, okay? So these guys are spending hundreds of dollars on samples before they met me, obviously. And you know, after they meet me, they show me the samples, and I tell them like, bro, like this sample is trash. I would never even let you order a sample. That's how bad it is. So when it comes to products, design, I really recommend you guys be very efficient, because you save more money, more time, and energy, right? Because if you guys make a design and you know it's just bad, just throw it away. Why are you making a sample for that? It doesn't make sense for me personally. So I would say being very efficient also plays a very big role when it comes to, I guess, having a brand growing so fast. I think that's one thing that I did pretty well, which is funny because even though I am efficient, so for example, for me, for the products, what I do is like, I have a certain threshold of standard that it has to hit. And if it does hit that, I order a sample. But even with the samples that I order, I'd say only like 10% actually make it. So 90% of the samples I make, they go to the trash can. Okay, like they're just in my inventory rack, just sitting there. So kind of off topic, but yeah, so I guess next, which kind of leads into this topic, is collections and samples. You guys need to be on top of your shit. So what I mean by this is you guys need to constantly order more samples, more collections for your next or pre-order your collection for your next collection that you're gonna drop. But the thing with this is you kind of have to play it right, because most of you guys are not gonna drop that many products. So when it comes to the sampling process as well, you're probably not gonna order that many samples, okay? I see brand owners on TikTok, YouTube saying that they order 100 samples per month, 50 samples per month, which, I mean, I'm not saying that you can't do that, it's just stupid, okay? So the reason why I say it's stupid is because just statistically, okay, most brand owners are only going to use like 20 to 30% of their samples and like actually drop that product, okay? Which means 70% of the samples that you make minimum will just go to the trash. Like, you're not gonna use it at all because it's bad, it's trash, it's mid, etc. So instead of spending 100 samples per month or making 100 samples per month, thousands of dollars, why don't you just make 10, okay? 10 really good ones. And then from there, it would be from 70 to like maybe 40%. You know, I'm trying to say like the 60% of samples actually make it. So I would say try to be very efficient with this. Personally, for me, this is how I operate my clothing brand, is I'm very efficient. But for most of you guys, I mean, you guys can do whatever you want. But I will say ordering 100 samples, 50 samples per month for your clothing brand is just, it's just dumb. You know what I'm trying to say? You're just throwing money down the drain. All right, so next we have cash flow or information, okay? So I feel like a lot of you guys have one or the other. If you have none of these, I'd say try to get at least one. But the reason why I'm giving you guys two options is because honestly, you guys can choose any route you guys want to. But you guys need a lot of money, either a lot of money or information, okay? Which, number one, you guys can get both. Information, there's a lot of free information online. I do have a course for 27 bucks that literally teaches you how to start a clothing brand from scratch. 27 bucks, it's like, bro, it's a Chick-fil-A meal. As far as money, it's not that hard to make money. You can literally work at McDonald's for like 4 months. I heard they're paying like 20 now, which is crazy. Back in my day, it was like 16. So, you know, money or information, the reason why you need to have at least one of these is because if you don't have any of these, you're cooked. Okay, I'm sorry. Like, you know, it's really hard to just start a business in general, but if you have no money on top of that and no information, you're not going to make it, unfortunately. Like, maybe the 0.1% of you guys might, but 99% of you guys are not going to make it because you don't have any of these. And unfortunately, when it comes to business, the only difference between me and you is just money, experience, time, and information. So yeah, I would say, like, I'm gonna be honest, the information part, I think a lot of you guys have no excuses because there is so much information online these days. So even if it's not my $27 program, I'm sure there's other clothing brand owners that have a program or mentorship for that cheap as well. So it's not that expensive anymore. Like, back then it used to be way more expensive. So 27 bucks, 50 bucks, whatever you pay, you can get decent information for under $100 these days. And so that's the first thing. It's like you have no excuse. But number two, the reason why capital is important is because if you don't have information, number one, you can just pay for it if you have capital. But if you don't want to pay for information, which is also fine, you can just outsource everything in the beginning. So pretty much you can pay for a designer. Obviously, you should be learning Photoshop on the side, but if you want to do everything faster, you should pay for a designer, pay for somebody to make your website, pay for XYZ. You could get bulk orders, you can order samples, you can pay for calls to see if you're doing everything right. So, you know, just having money in itself is a pretty much glitch, because you guys can literally just cut the process in half of like you starting your brand and learning everything, because, you know, this is pretty common sense. But like, if you have two different people, the first person, he locks himself at a gym and he like plays basketball all day, right? But he has no coach, he's never played basketball before. And there's this other guy who just goes to the gym maybe, I don't know, once a day for 1 hour, and he hires a coach to teach him what to do and like how to play basketball, how to dribble, how to shoot. And I promise you, no matter how long this guy sticks or locks himself in the gym, the guy who pays a coach is going to get better results because he's learning from somebody and he has a feedback loop on what to do and what not to do. So I would say either have capital or information. This obviously depends. I would say, like, no matter what stage you're at in life, you should always have a different teacher. That's like, for example, for me, like I'm looking for mentors right now because obviously like I did hit 7 figures, etc., but that's nothing in the e-commerce space. So I'm constantly, I'm very open to learning, and if I'm like that, you guys should be like that as well. So I would say cash flow or capital or information is very important. Obviously, if you have both, that is better. Okay. So next we have marketing / product. So this is, I don't like talking about marketing as much because I do think that, it's like it depends on each person. So for example, if you're an influencer, you don't need to market. But if you're just a regular nobody, you actually have to market the brand. So I'd say like most of you guys are not influencers, but most of the tips that I see online are applied to people like influencers or people that have a lot of connections or etc. or a lot of money because it's just easier that way. But I'm gonna be totally honest. You guys can either be a really good marketer or you guys can make a really good product. Okay, it's one or the other. Obviously, if you do both, that's better. But I doubt that you guys can be a master at both in the beginning, especially. So either make a really good product or be really good at marketing. Marketing, obviously, there's so many different types of marketing, but I would say ads is probably the most efficient and the most reliable when it comes to making a product. Just make a product that your customer wants. Okay, don't make a product that you want. Make a product that your customer wants to wear. Okay, so either way, if you have at least one of these, like a good product or a good marketing, you should be able to get sales, because if you have a good product, marketing is easier. If you have good marketing, you can just drop whatever you want. Okay, so either way, it doesn't really matter, but I would say try to have both if you can, because that's pretty much going to elevate your brand and get you way more sales. And finally, to end off the video, is time. Okay, so what I mean by this is a lot of you guys are honestly not doing bad. Obviously, it depends. Like, I'm sure you guys don't know certain stuff. You're still learning. But if you know you're doing all the work, okay, if you know you're doing everything right, it's pretty much impossible for you to just not get sales. It's just a matter of time. So I think a lot of you guys that are actually working hard, just be patient. Okay, it takes time. Business, like 50% of the results for your business is just time, just waiting. So if you're putting in the work, you're doing everything that's necessary, you guys are going to make it. So yeah, I would say just be patient if I were you. If you've been doing it for obviously everybody's path is different, but I guess don't be stupid as well. Like, if you've been working on your brand for 2-3 years and you've only made like 10K in sales, it's an information problem, or your business is just not good. Okay, so obviously don't be dumb, right? If you spent 5 years and you only made 50K, like, it's horrible. So use your brain, but for the most part, most of you guys just need to wait. Just be patient with your time, and you guys will eventually get more sales and hopefully hit 6 figures, 7 figures as well, just like me. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said earlier in the video, I do have a $27 program that I just released. You guys can buy it. You guys don't need to buy it. I don't care. It's 27 bucks. It's not going to change my life, but it might change yours. So yeah, I mean, I guess the reason why I did release that is because honestly, I'm tired of everybody like commenting like, oh, I can't afford your program. Bro, it's 27 bucks. Okay, so just know that, I mean, like I said earlier, you guys don't need to pay for information, but if you guys are going to, I guess, start your brand, I promise you it's going to be so much help. Okay, it's 27 bucks, and I don't want to sound biased, but it's a lot of information for $27. So it's like worth, like, I think 1,000 at minimum. Okay, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys later.